I don't know how many of you out there are knowledgeable of Peter King. Now, he's a Republican who borders on tremendous hatred towards Muslims. In the past, he has scapegoated them. He's gone on insane rants about how there's supposedly this gigantic Islamist army that's coming to kill us all at any moment. A lot of the racist right wing of the Republican Party. Now, he's gone even further with this when he was speaking to Fox News. What I am very concerned about is that while the overwhelming majority of Muslims are good people, the fact is, even though Muslims are 1% of the population, almost 90% of terrorist crimes are carried out by the Muslim community. And there are not enough people in the community willing to step forward to speak out against this and cooperate with law enforcement. Well, this is a very typical line. It's always Muslims that are the problem, and the crime is caused by them, or pardon me, terrorism is always caused by them, and they're not willing to police their own people in order to stop this. However, a Gallup poll found that Muslim Americans are more likely, 89%, to reject violence than any other U.S. religious group, standing in stark contradiction to his beliefs. Now, the problem is, his opinion doesn't correspond with reality, the real material conditions that exist. And that when we look at the unaddressed terrorist threats, I mean, like what's really going on in America, it doesn't match what he thinks. And in fact, the National Counterterrorism Center disagrees when they put out this previous statistic. Right-wing extremism is almost always more of a problem than any other form of terrorism. And really, the claims of eco-terrorism are actually pretty weak. It's perpetuated by a bunch of rich industrialists who are complaining that activists are protesting their illegal actions. Even then, oil companies have done more damage to people in the world than the so-called terrorists, eco-terrorists, have done to them. Obviously, both the Gallup poll and this information from the Counterterrorism Center shows that his opinion isn't exactly in line with reality. But then again, this is a very typical line coming from the right wing, more specifically from the Republican Party, and unfortunately very much from the Christian side as well, is always portraying other people as a threat. It's kind of the when we do it, it's not wrong kind of mentality, which is why on the right there's often the justifications or outright denials, or in the case of like David Horowitz, the glorifications of some of the greatest genocides of all time that were carried out by Americans. The genocide of 150 million Africans to build up the country today that is the United States was often glorified by far right, even libertarians like Ayn Rand and people like her. This mentality is a streak that runs right through the right wing, defending all kind of inhumane actions because it's not bad when we do it. Of course, 9/11, the tragedy that it was, is something that must be remembered and kept in our hearts always. While the 3 million people who've died in Iraq and Afghanistan who had absolutely nothing to do with that are people who deserved it. And this is the mentality that the right wing, even so far as coming from Obama, has been being shoved down our throats. This is what they are. This is what they believe in. Even then, sometimes the genocide of 114 million Native Americans is passed off as something necessary for the development of America. America as the empire it is today, yes, it would be absolutely necessary to do that in order to achieve the empire that is there. However, it never seems to enter into their mind that this is wrong. But with the concept of American exceptionalism coming particularly strong from the right wing and the Christian side, it becomes the prevailing ideology that which we live in today.